Hi guys, and welcome to another Sonic Academy tutorial. In this one we're going to be having a look at how to make music using Propellerhead's Reason 6. So we're going to start by just clicking the icon and opening the program. Okay, whenever the program opens, you could end up with something that looks a bit like this. This is a template that it's open to, and whenever you open the program for the first time, it will default to opening up in a template, and the templates are there to allow you to open up pre-saved sessions that have certain types of tracks in them, that have certain types of effects added to them, that can be used for particular types of sessions. So if I go into my file menu here, you've got this new to open up a new session, but you've also got new from template, and in here you've got a number of different templates that you can choose from to open up at the start, all depending on what type of track you want to create. A lot of the time though, you will potentially want to open it just completely blank and start from scratch. So you might not want to be, selecting album mastering or basic audio tracking or something like that. Some of these might be useful to you, some of them might not be. So I'm just going to show you how to change that. If we go into Reason, go into Preferences, and make sure we've selected General here. Then we can go into where it says Default Song, and we've got a couple of different options here. We can select from template, and then we've got our template listed here. We can go in there and select a particular template to open that from, or we can select empty rack, and that means every time you open the program, this section will be completely blank. It's just like starting with a completely blank slate. Or we can select this, which will open up the previous song that we were working on. So whenever you close it down and then open it up again, it'll open up the previous session that you were working on. Can be a handy thing to select if you're continuing to work on the same project. So we're just going to take that off, and I'm going to change that to empty rack, so that whenever I close that down and select new, it'll open like so, which will give me a completely blank canvas to start working from. So I'm just going to talk you through this window, and we'll have a look at what these different sections of this screen are for, and what their basic functions are. We've got three basic windows here. We've got this section of the window here, which is our sequencer section. This is where we tell all the instruments that we're using what we want them to do. So this is where we program our MIDI, and this is also where we put any audio that we've recorded, or any audio clips that we import, or audio loops that we import into the program, because obviously the big deal with Reason 6 is that it now has audio capabilities, which it never had before. So we can put audio and MIDI into this section now. This section here is our basic rack window, which is where we put all our machines that we use, whether they're instruments or effects. And this section here is our mixer window, which is a new addition to Reason 6. So to make things a wee bit easier to look at, we can detach these three windows and make them into three separate windows, just to allow us to have a better look at what's going on. So if I click on Window, I've got a number of options here: detach main mixer and detach rack window. So I'm going to select both of those, and now we've got three windows here. We've got our mixer, our rack, and our sequencer window. So this rack window is where all our instruments will go, and we can go up to here and select create, and select instrument, and choose from all this big list of instruments, from different synths and samplers, loop players, drum machines, things like that, and they will all appear then in this rack, just basically like a virtual version of a studio rack. And it even looks like that, where you would kind of slot and screw in various different machines into your studio rack. This other window here then is your mixer, and this is where the different channels for all your instruments will appear in this section here, and it defaults with this, which is your master section, your master volume control, and all your different return effects and things like that, but we'll come back to that later on. And finally this, which is your sequencer window, and this is timeline based then, so this is based on beats and bars, minutes and seconds, and this is where we place all our different pieces of MIDI, pieces of audio, and arrange them all into an order to turn them into a full track. The other thing that we've got within two of these windows, not in the mixer but within the rack and the sequencer window, is this section down the bottom here, which is our transport bar. The transport bar features a lot of the functions that you will use to play back and record the various different sounds and ideas within your session. So we've got a record, play, stop, fast forward, rewind buttons. We've also got a click button here that we can turn on and off, which is basically our metronome, which allows us to record things in time. We've got a tempo control here and time signature control, which allows us to change both those things within our tune. We've also got a loop section over here, so we can set up loop playback for different sections of our tune as well, to continually play certain sections around. And we've also got, anytime you see these buttons, these magnifying glass type buttons, that means that we can zoom in and out either horizontally or vertically within different sections of the track, like so. Don't worry about all of this too much at the moment. We'll come back to all these things as we move through the course and pick up on all the different functions within our transport bar here. We've also, up the top left section here, got a number of different editing functions that you can use to chop up and change the various different pieces of information that you put into your tracks here. So this, I'll just show you then a couple of the different things that we're going to use. That's audio and MIDI. So I can go to create and select create audio track, and that'll stick in an audio track then here that I can record sound into, through a microphone, through my sound card or desk or whatever I've got my microphone plugged into. We can also create any number of different types of instruments. So if I click instrument and select, say for example, this synthesizer, that'll then put in another track here. So we've got our audio track there, our synthesizer track there. If I then scroll into my other windows, you can see that they've changed as well. In my rack window here, I've got an audio track at the top there, and then below that I've got a mix track for this synth. So we've got a synth, we've got a mix track for it, and then in my mixer window I've now got two mix channels, one for the audio track that I've just put in, one for the synth track that I've just put in. So you can have as many of those as you like within your session. One last thing that I'll show you here is just back into preferences, and if we go into audio, you just want to set your audio up so that you're either listening through your sound card or listening through your headphones. So at the moment the audio device is set to built-in output, so that means that it will come through the headphone socket on my computer, but you can choose whichever one you want. We can select the sound card that I've got plugged in there. There's also built-in input and built-in output, so you can record samples through the in on your sound card on your computer, or any other type of program for audio routing on your computer. You can see I've got Soundflower installed on my computer there. So that's about it for the interface, and in the next tutorial we're going to start loading in a drum machine and making some sounds. Alright, I'll see you then.